Hey, what's up guys? My name is Edward Ornelas. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing quickly on some Bitcoin technical analysis, but I really want to focus more on the altcoins, all right? Because if you probably woke up this morning, altcoins are booming, all right? And arguably, it is their turn to do so. But let's get right into the Bitcoin and then we'll get right into the altcoins. So for starters, Bitcoin is definitely nearing towards that top of the range, right? Where it's starting to kind of top out. It is nearing, it wants to definitely still keep going higher, but there are signs that shows that it might not be sustainable. The reason I say that is because if you actually look at its price, even though we did break out of its current wedge that we were, so you guys know what I'm talking about, this wedge right here, it's RSI showing signs of bear divergence, right? So we're making a higher, even though we made a higher high in price action, we're making a lower high in RSI. And typically that means that we're going to get a pullback because price is not sustainable. There's not enough buyers to sustain that its current pricing. And it even shows that here on the volume, right? You can see that there's bear divergence, less volume, meaning less buyers. And so eventually it's going to get towards that point where we will have to eventually retrace towards the downside. When will that be? It's unclear because Bitcoin can technically still keep going higher. I'd argue not for long, but it still has that potential. So what I'm currently looking at right now to determine whether, is actually this rising wedge right here. I'll adjust this, guys. Right, so this wedge right here. The top of the wedge right here still points towards highs of around 99,000 to even 10,000. So that's what I'll be looking for, right? So what I want to see right here now is to see if we're going to end up either breaking towards that 10,000 range or breaking out of its current wedge, all right? And I'll be playing it as is. So if, for example, we end up breaking the top of the range, okay, cool, now we have to wait to see if we end up breaking below it or out of it. So my targets are still set for around 10,000 potentially. I think that's probably will be its higher end of the spectrum if we do end up getting there. But it would not surprise me if this is also its top of the range right here. Okay, guys. So even if we end up topping out close to around, because we're pretty much close to around 9,000 right now. All right, and I'm not a huge LE waves kind of guy, but I do like to pay attention to the 5-wave structure. And if you actually take a look at the 5 waves, we're about to complete its 5th wave here pretty soon. All right. Typically, the 5th wave does tend to be a little bit overextended. That's because that's when the FOMO kicks in, right? That's when you have a lot of people that are looking at the price and saying, oh, I don't want to miss out on this. We got to go where it's going to go higher. And last time we had that, right? Last time we had that much of a FOMO was actually back in December, right? You can see that it extended ridiculously. All right, so it would not surprise me if we could even overextend past that 10,000 and make some higher highs. But just like I mentioned, the volume is decreasing. So for the time being, I don't think that the price is sustainable. It could make some higher highs, but eventually it will have to retrace at its current pricing, right? So if you pull up the Fibonacci retracement, right, let's go from its lowest low points to its current highs. So if it were to pull back right now, let's actually assume it goes up to 10,000, right? Let's just to play devil's advocate. We do usually, according to past trends, we do usually get about a 40% retracement. So if we do end up going upwards to 10,000, we probably will end up trying to see some lows of around potentially that 5-7 range, right, guys? So if you're on the sidelines right now with the Bitcoin, you're looking at it, it's going higher and higher, guys. Do not FOMO, all right, guys? Eventually, Bitcoin will have to retrace. And according to past trends, like I mentioned, it does retrace about 40%, all right? This isn't nothing new. It's done this before, time and time again, right? So you can see right here, it retraced about 38%, arguably about 40%. Back here as well, also retraced about 40%. I don't know why it's doing this, so whack. But you guys get the general idea, right? So eventually Bitcoin will have to retrace and it will make lows of around 40% retracement. And that does put us around that 5.7, 5.8 support structure, which I'd argue is a strong support structure, right? Because that's where we had the last previous lows. That's where we got that 6,000 support structure. So I think that area right there will be a strong area of confluence where we will, I think a lot of buyers will start kicking in for sure. But I guess the premise of this is don't FOMO. Maintain a cool, solid, you know, just don't FOMO into this, right? Don't FOMO into the Bitcoin. But what you should be FOMOing, and what I've been doing actually, is into the altcoins, right? Let's look at the majors. Like if you look at the Ethereums, a lot of them are starting to break out of their bear trends. All right. I think a lot of them, especially on their Bitcoin charts, Bitcoin comparative charts, I think that's where they play a lot of influence. As you can see that, ETH for a little while there is actually starting to flag out and starting to break out of it. And I think that ETH in comparison does have a long ways to go. I think that it'll see a huge retracement of at least, I believe around 50% or so, 40-50% on its Bitcoin comparative. At least the coins that I'm currently invested into are like the NEO, right? For example, NEO this morning actually broke out. It's up over 10% actually. You can see it's up around 14-15% at its highs. And it has a long ways to go in my opinion. I think it'll see a retracement of around 56-75%. You know, it's very, very possible because like I mentioned before, Bitcoin is currently at $8,000, meaning that the last time Bitcoin was there was back in, I believe, in June or July. So if you actually compare current Bitcoin's pricing and where the altcoins are at, you know, that means that NEO would have to retrace at least 200% just to go back to its June comparative, right? Similarly, I'm also investing into the ZRX. I think ZRX could also have some juice involved. It looks like it's also breaking out of its wedge. It did double bottom, higher lows. All right, guys. So anytime you see this right here, where there's a low, but then a higher low established like that, and also a positive RSI divergence kicking in like this, that usually signifies bull momentum, meaning that there's buyers kicking in, starting to accumulate. And this could, again, also, like I mentioned with the NEO, see some pretty good retracements. At minimum, I think we will suspect around 75 to 100% retracement. And also, like, if you actually look back at its June comparative, right, October, November, right, it's still upwards up there. It's like 260% to 300%. So, you know, you guys get the general idea that alts right now really are the move. And honestly, you can't go wrong with any alts. Regardless of what your favorite, you know, a leader says in the space, you know, you can invest into any altcoin and you will still be just as successful. There's not one altcoin that won't do or won't perform just as well. So, you know, honestly, I could chart a random coin and honestly, it will probably have a similar chart that I just pulled up. Another one that I'm also invested into is the LSK. I think LSK also has some pretty, again, some similar structure, double bottom, higher low. And this one also has a pretty good retracement of at least at minimum 35 to upwards of around 100% retracement. So, and lastly, there's one more, XRP. Duh, how can I forget the XRP? I have a pretty big bag on this one as well. Again, similar price action, right? Higher low, RSI divergence, positive divergence, guys. You know, honestly, you don't have to you don't have to make this complicated. All right, guys, to invest into these altcoins, it's as simple as looking at reversal patterns. The last time we had something similar going on was back in August, September. You can see, you know, we did have about a double bottom, but RSI divergence was bullish. RSI divergence was kicking in, and you can see how crazy the XRP went, right? It went highs of around almost 179, 200%, guys. So again, I'm expecting nothing different this time around with the altcoins. I think they will have at least a pretty good retracement in comparison to the Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin here will just have to cool off, and I think alts will have their shine. All right. So the key, what you have to look for really is its dominance, right? I don't know if you can pull it up here. Dominance. I'll have to pull up in a different chart here. Just give me 1 second, guys. But if you pull up the coin signals charts, if you look at Bitcoin's dominance, I think we're going to start seeing a retracement, a decrease. You can see right now it's currently at around 55%. At its highs, it was at around 60% dominance. Okay, guys. And usually around the time that Bitcoin's dominance decreases, as far as we can go, as far back is around, you can see October, December, January. So around that January area, you can see that its dominance decreased right around 50%. So once Bitcoin's dominance decreases less than 50%, I think that's when altcoins will really, really, really rally, right? And that's when I'd argue it's going to be its top of the wedge, right? At its top of the pattern for a lot of these altcoins. So as long as Bitcoin's dominance decreases, it's a good sign for the altcoins. It means money that's in the altcoins is going to start moving into, Bitcoin is going to start moving into the altcoins. So, I'm sorry, guys, I rambled on into this, but essentially I'm trying to emphasize right now that the altcoins are the move. They are going to start exploding here pretty soon. I think as Bitcoin slows down, I do think it's possible that Bitcoin will have one final move towards the upside. It's very, very possible. At minimum, I think to at least 10,000, but we are starting to get those reversal patterns, guys. You can see that the volume's decreasing on its weekly channel. We're starting to get that, that neutral star, you know, where you have 2 wicks on both ends. Again, that usually also signifies reversal patterns. So, you know, so if you're investing to Bitcoin, maybe potentially it's going to be time to start taking profits, guys, just because eventually we are going to get that huge retracement. And, you know, like I said before, Bitcoin, you know, in theory usually does get about a 40% retracement. And that would, again, in return put us to around that 6,000, 5,800 zone. So unless you're comfortable holding a huge retracement like that, I say, you know, take profits. Don't be too greedy, because greed is a killer, guys. At the end of the day, that's what's lost a lot of people a lot of money. It's not that they've made the money, it's that they never took profits. All right. So that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And also, go follow me on my Discord community. The link's in the description below, guys. I will be releasing some content for all the members there. So if you guys haven't already, go join that. So you don't want to miss out on that. Also, go follow me on my social media accounts, guys. I have a little Twitter that I'm just starting up. I have over around 200 followers right now. I really want to get that to around 1,000 here pretty soon. So if you guys haven't already, go follow me on my Twitter. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. All right, guys. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.